on the chat is, sorry, I forgot to hit record. Sorry, Lana. Lauren on the chat says other realtors. And Lauren, if you can get off mute, I want you to explain to the group why you posted that. Why is it important to have other realtors in my database?
If you have a new listing, you can send that listing to just realtors, or you can have a brokers open and invite other realtors before you have an open house.
Yep, absolutely. You know why else? And this is so important in Keller Williams because referral partners. Because when you send referrals to Maryland, now I know that I'm going to call Wilbert, right? And if I put Wilbert in my database and someone's like, oh my God, I'm looking for a real estate agent in Maryland, and I get those calls a lot, I just pull command, sort it out through Maryland, and I'm going to have a list of names and I'm going to refer the names out. And I'm going to get a referral fee when that closes. That's the beauty of Keller Williams. Now, it is so important that you communicate with these other agents on a monthly basis because these other agents need to know that you are working. They need to know that you know the market because I will not refer business out if I pick up the phone and call you and you cannot tell me what your average median price is, what month, how many months of inventory are in your market, who's, your list to close price ratio. If agents cannot give me that, I'm not sending the referral, right? If they cannot tell me what their numbers are, how many buyers have they closed, how many listings have they closed, I'm gonna doubt it, okay? Now, that doesn't mean that you as an agent, you're gonna be like, but I haven't done anything, so would you send me business? Oh, I will send you business 100% all day long. But you gotta be able to answer some basic questions about the market, right? And you're gonna leverage your market center's numbers. Or if you're part of a team, you're gonna leverage your team's number. If you're part of a productivity coaching program, you're going to leverage your productivity coaching program's numbers. Because it's not just us, is it? It's like us and everyone else that comes with us when we're talking about people. So I'm going to share with you a strategy that I use to keep in contact with my referral partners. Every month, I send a market update in video form, just like literally like Liliana with her phone like that, about the market. Less than a minute, I upload it in command, boom, send it, done. And they get, can you repeat the numbers? Yeah, for when I'm speaking to a referral partner, yeah, I want to know the market. I want to know your average sales, that you know your average sales price, your list to price, your list to sold ratio, which is a difference, right, in price. How many buyers, how many sellers have you worked with? And I want to know your values. I ask that. So tell me, how do you operate? What's your customer experience like? Because I tend to be a very TLC kind of lovey person, and I'm like on top of my people, and my people expect that. So when I refer them out, they expect that too. So I'm not going to send it to someone that's not going to fit their personality, which is why it's also so important to have different referral partners with different personalities, because you're going to have to match people as well. So when you're building your database in here in this Ignite classroom right now, there's 18 of you. You should be each other's referral partners. You should go to that Google spreadsheet that I shared at the beginning, so that hopefully you could type stuff and put each other there and get to know each other a little better. You should absolutely 100% live in each other's database. And then when we go to family reunion and mega camp and these big events that KW does for us, then we'll just meet and have a drink, and it's so much fun. Okay, so definitely your realtor. So now we have your sphere of influence, meaning your friends and family. You have coworkers, or what we call people that we meet, that we've met. If we've met them, they need to be in command. Does that make sense? So if you have kids and they're in little leagues, be the parent that volunteers for the snacks. Because when you volunteer for the snacks, you get the list of people, right? You get like the rosters into command. I haven't been the parent of little kids in a while because my kids are all like old and grown. But I'm pretty sure that still exists, right? The little leagues and the soccer and the basketball or whatever. So leverage that. If you're part of a group, a church group, or at the gym, or you're a runner or walker, whatever club you belong to, those people need to be in your database too. Okay. Now, who else can we put in the database? Because now we have our sphere of influence. We have other realtors. We have people that we've met in general. Who else? Who else do we want to put in there? Who else are we throwing in this bucket?
Family.
Yes, that would be sphere of influence. Absolutely. Family falls on the sphere of influence category. Who else?
Construction, maybe the house cleaner, anybody that can help us like further what we're doing, and we can help them too in the process.
Can I share a strategy for you guys? Some of your lead generation needs to be exactly what Jana just said. If it has to do with houses, it has to do with you. So build relationships with the contractor, with the plumber, with the electrician, with the pool repair guy, with someone that repairs roofs, with lenders, with home inspectors, title companies, lawyers, CPA, and try to ask all these people for discounts for when you refer them people. Because if someone calls me today and says, oh my God, Liliana, I need a pool contractor. I'm going to call my pool contractor. I'm going to say, hey, Jorge, I'm going to send you a referral. And I told them that you were going to give them 10% discount because that's like our agreement. So I hooked them up. And then when I hook them up on the text, I say, hey, so-and-so, here's my pool contractor. And he has agreed to give you 10% discount. And that's on me. How much value is that, right? And, with contractors, it's tough to do that, but you can do that for inspectors. You can have lenders waive the appraisal fee. They can pay for that. You just got to ask, hey, would you pay for the appraisal for some of my buyers? Maybe you're veteran buyers or a group of buyers that you want to give special treatment for. Maybe for teachers, you want them to waive, or first responder, you want them to waive appraisal fee. Because now that becomes part of your service, your customer experience, and your value proposition. So definitely business to business, it's super duper important. Small businesses in your community, also important that you build those relationships because you can help them out. And when you help them out, what's going to happen in return? What's going to happen in return? Absolutely. They're going to give you referrals. They're going to help you out too. Let me give you some news. Every business has the same problem that you have. What would that be?
Competition.
Nope.
Huh.
Every business has the same problem that we have as real estate agents.
Oh, customers.
Every business.
Good one.
Customers. There you go. Leads. Every business needs leads. Be the one to help a business get leads so that that business help you get leads. It's win-win or no deal after all. Right? So business to business. Now let's say you're doing an open house. Do those people that came into the open house without an agent, do they go in your database, or are we gonna like, no? Right? Carmen's like, yes, they go in my database 100%, right? Let's say you want to farm a community, and these are what we call unmets. Unmets. And when you get the red book, guys, everything that I'm talking about, it's on page, I want to tell you 100 and hi 48, 38, like around there. Yeah, 137. Page 137 of the red book. It will tell you who lives in your database. So just like we have the Mets, we're gonna have the unmets. Have you heard the term farming in real estate already? Carmen, what have you heard about that term? Tell us.
That's when you look at a neighborhood that you want to do business in, or that you're familiar with, or you have a connection with, that you go through and introduce yourself in some way, shape, or form to that neighborhood.
Absolutely, absolutely. These are people that you don't know, but that you want to get into a relationship with. And you should be super strategic about which neighborhood to farm. And some people will tell you, look at the turnover rate in the neighborhood. And some people will tell you, forget about the turnover rate, just farm a neighborhood, right? I always suggest to our agents to start farming your own neighborhood. Farm where you live. Become the real estate expert of your little one hyper-local community. If there's 100 houses in your community, become the expert on what's happening with those 100 houses. When they go up on the market, when they go pending, when they sell, how quickly, for how much. What's the difference between list price and sales price? Right? What are the models that are inside your community? What do these floor plans look like? Become the expert. Because once you become the expert, you're going to have the self-confidence to actually talk about the thing. And when you guys have the self-confidence to talk about anything, business comes. Business will come, 100%. Because is it just me when I started as a real estate agent that I just didn't know what to say? Therefore, during my night class, I pretended that I was calling people, but I really wasn't calling people. Just me. Dude, we've all been there. You all forget that. You all forget that we were all new at some point. This is not a judgment zone. This is a learning zone. We know your pain. We know the pain. All right. Okay. So I want to show you any questions with what we've discussed so far of who lives in your database, or any comments, or did we forget anyone? Awesome. Gary will also tell us, like, general public, like, go meet the general public. So if you're like at a networking event and you're getting to know people, realtors love going to networking events for some reason. I'm not that person. Like, that makes me very anxious, like talking to strangers like that. But if I go to a networking event, I go in with a goal. I'm going to take 20 business cards. I'm going to have 20 conversations. That is my lead gen for the day. And I'm going to take 20 business cards, because when I have the business cards, I have control of the relationship. I'm going to put them in my command and I'm going to start communicating with them systematically. When I give my business card out, I'm giving control of my relationship out. I have to wait for them to call me. And we cannot do that, right? So what I'm going to show you guys next is the lead gen model. The lead generation model in Keller Williams actually goes hand in hand with command. Okay. And I'm surprised that this is not updated to, like, there's one that gives you everything with command as well. So we are going to look for business, because that is your number one job description, is to look for business. Okay. We're going to capture that business and we're going to throw them in this funnel, in this bucket of people, right? Now, leads are someone that's telling us, I want to buy or sell in real estate in however long period of time. Tomorrow, in 3 months, next year, in 5 years, in 20 years, or I'm not going to sell until I die. If they're a homeowner, they're seller leads. I want you to think about that way. If they own a home, they are tagged in your command as seller leads. Okay. And all these people are going to go into command. And as you're building relationships, right, as you're connecting with them, now you can consider them a contact, because now we're building the relationship and now I know what that person needs and I know how to communicate with that person, which then takes me to number 3 in this bucket, which is cultivate contacts for conversion. I cannot convince anyone to buy or sell a home. Is that a true statement or is that a false statement? Someone's got to get off mute and tell me true or false. True or false? I cannot convince anyone to buy or sell a home.
False.
Tell me, Heather, tell me more.
I mean, you can definitely have a conversation, explain, how the process works, help ease their mind, let them know exactly what they need to prepare for. That way they, feel more comfortable with the idea of it, because most of the time the biggest fear is change itself. So if you, tackle that, then they have some sort of security for knowing that sometimes that change is fantastic. And that's the whole goal, is to, to live better.
Absolutely, right? But I love that nothing that you said talked about convincing, right? Because we're not there to convince. We are there to do exactly what Heather just said, to have a conversation, to educate them, to guide them so that they make the best decision for their family, whatever that is that they're going to make that decision. The problem is that when we get into real estate, most of us get into real estate because, time and flexibility, and I'm going to get rich very, very quickly, and this is easy. Just me. I just got into the industry with that expectation, and then I was like, and we feel like if they don't transact immediately, they suck. This is how it sounds in your world. That lead is not good. The lead is good. It's just that sometimes we have to follow up so long on people. I just put 4 listings in the market, and out of the 4 listings, 2 of those, I've been following up on them for 2 years. Consistently and systematically. For 2 years. So don't feel like you're gonna go in this bucket from step number 2 to step number 3 to convert like in 5 minutes. Some people will be ready immediately. Some people, you're going to have to be there and stay there and follow up on them and make sure that you are there, and that in the moment that they will transact, or the moment that someone around them is going to transact in real estate and now they're referring you. That's why it's called relationship management in the middle. Jason Abrams, have you ever heard of Jason already or not yet? Have you heard of Jason? Jason Abrams is our vice president of industry in Keller Williams. He's like this little guy, like full of energy, and he's awesome and super smart. And he always likes to joke around to saying that he had a 1.7 GPA when he graduated high school, and that he doesn't even understand how he is now, the vice president of the industry of Keller Williams, one of the largest, real estate company in the world. And he explains it this way, and I'm going to share my screen here with my Remarkable, so bear with me. This is your life as a real estate agent. 20% of the time, team, you're going to be lead generating. You're going to be looking for the business, putting people in that bucket, right, in the funnel. 70% of your time, you're going to be following up on people. This is where we live. We live in the follow-up. And 10% of the time, what's the part that I have left? Who can tell me? Where am I 10% of the time? Where am I? What's missing?
The actual doing of business.
The actual transaction. 10% of the time, I'm going to be working a deal. So if I'm going to live 70% of the time in the follow-up, your calendar, when you're time blocking your week, 70% of your time needs to be on the relationship side, following up on people, touching base with the people, sending the texts, making the calls, sending the notes. Ignite has your 10-4, right? You got to do the social media. You got to send the handwritten notes. You got to do the 10 conversations a day. You got to go preview homes. All of those are activities that are going to help you lead generate so that then you can live in the follow-up. Where most agents fail is that they stay here in the 20%. They say lead gen, and they forget to follow up. And Gary teaches us on the shift that the same intensity with which we lead generate is the same intensity that we have to put on the follow-up. Because when we follow up, then we can go back to our bucket, and then we're going to bring people into conversion, meaning, yep, now we're ready to do business, and we're going to get referrals. And once they're done doing business with us and giving us referral, they go back to contacts to strengthen the relationship. Any questions with this? Because now I'm going to tell you how this looks like in Command. Any questions? Awesome. All right. So when we lead generate and capture, when we lead capture, right, we're prospecting and we're marketing. A lot of people tell me, I'm just going to make a flyer. Making a flyer is the biggest waste of your time ever. Okay. It needs to be a combination of both things. You're going to do the social media for your marketing, the flyer, whatever, but you got to prospect too. You got to look for the business and be in charge of, okay, I want to have 10 conversations today, and I'm not going to stop until I have my 10 conversations, right? Now, you can also capture business in Command through your website or doing the campaigns, doing the Facebook ads or the Google ads that we have now. Because when you do an ad, you're going to receive leads and your database is going to grow. Okay. So that's a good like marketing strategy. Let me do the campaign, have Command send me people. The beauty of Command, guys, is that the moment that lead gets into your Command, it can trigger a smart plan, and that lead is getting a text from you in like seconds without you even looking at it. You're still working in your full-time job while Command is doing all this work for you. And as a dual career agent, for those of you who are, it is massively important that you leverage the technology. Now, once I get the lead, I have to put them on what we call an 8x8 smart plan. And you're going to connect it to the 8x8 until they talk back to you. Once they talk back to you, you're going to move them into another smart plan, which in our world, in the book, it's a 36 touch, but in our world, a 36 touch is no longer enough. So we have to do a 50 touch. And now they're hearing from you almost weekly. And there are different smart plans in Command that you can borrow from other agents because our culture lives in Command. And you can download those, kind of make them your own and moving right along. Because that's going to help with the cultivation for the conversion. And then when they're done, when they're like, okay, I got to buy or I got to sell because I just got a job and I need to relocate, right? Now they're going to be calling you instead of you having to be calling them all the time. Questions, thoughts, or ahas? Because I've been like a lot. Anything that you've heard today? Sadaka, are you clapping? I love that. I love that. All right. So there are 4 laws of the database. In your material, you should have this. I'm not sure in what page of your material, but there are 4 laws of the database. And remember, the database is a digital community. This is where all of your people live and how I'm going to communicate with them. Okay, they live here. And in our world, that is Command. Your database lives in Command. Command is the house of the database. Now, rule number 1 of the database, or law number 1, which is where you all should be right now, is building your database. Can you make calls from Command? You cannot make calls from Command. You can text from Command. But you can use the Command app and you can like click on the call, like call from here, and it'll call from your phone. But if you're on the platform, on the website, in your laptop, it won't dial out. It's not a dialer. But you can text if you hook up your Twilio. And guys, Twilio could be $3 a month. It's the best $3 that you're going to invest for mass texting. Okay. So how do we build a database? Who has started that process? And can you guide me through that process? How do we build a database?
I started
my courageous soul.
I started with my contacts in my phone. And
excellent. What did you do? Tell me specifically, what did you do?
Oh, back then, I think it might be easier now, but back then we could, there was like an app that could translate them into command for us.
Mhm.
And then, what I'm doing at the moment is I have my daughter's private school directory in hard copy. And so I am taking all of these, and I found a program on my phone that I can take a picture of it and import it into a spreadsheet. So I'm working on that right now, so I can import that into my database.
Do you want to share what program is that? Because
Yeah, so I ended up just using, you have to pay for Excel as a mobile app, the Microsoft 365, but you get the first month free, and I just need it for this, so I'm done, so I can cancel it now. But yeah,
I love
it
that.
takes the picture and you put import from a picture, and boom. It's not perfect. I'm still gonna have to play with it, but at least I'm not typing 500 addresses and phone numbers and names.
I'm sorry. So just to clarify, the Excel app on your phone, you take a picture and it just turns it into a spreadsheet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I have that app, but I didn't never knew that.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Hey,
right.
learn something
I
new
just had to
today.
make sure I was hearing that right. Okay.
I love that. I love that. That is great, right? So, and that's how we feed our, we build the database. Is we start just putting people into command, right? You gotta make your peace with command. Create contacts. Go talk to your MCTTs in your market center. Go look on the YouTube videos. There's too many videos out there for command, right? And build it. Now, when we are dumping, like the other day, I made the mistake of dumping all of my phone with my 2000 blah, blah, blah contacts into command. It was fun. I'm still sorting through it, right? And when we do that, those big dumps, we got to be careful because you're going to dump a lot of trash. And then you got to go one by one, and it's taxing for us emotionally to go through that. And then we feel like a hamster in a wheel and like there's no progress, right? So if you're gonna dump, don't dump 2000 at the same time, dump 10 a day, and then call the people or text the people and connect with them. Because as you connect with them, you're gonna need to gather data like, oh my God, I want to be more purposeful about my relationships this year, if that sounds like you. And I'm wondering, what's your birthday? And if you don't want to call and ask for their birthday, guess where you can find their birthdays?
Social media.
Facebook. I think that's a really good idea.
Have it there.
That's a really good idea, especially with like the new year coming up. In my head, it's already 2024. Like, oh, my New Year's resolution is to be more meaningful, more personable, my connections. I just want to reconnect. I'm stealing that one.
This is the best time of the year to call people because we have the best excuses.
And holidays.
It's Thanksgiving. I want to give you so much gratitude for being in my life. Right? Like I said, my VIPs, they always get my business is 98% Sphere. So my cheerleaders, the people that gave me referrals and my friends that transacted with me, I send them a special Thanksgiving card. And if you didn't transact with me or give me a referral, you don't get it. We run in the same circle. So there's FOMO because people love getting mail. Because we don't get enough mail today. All that we get in the mail is junk or bills, right? No one is writing us love letters anymore. They're sending a text with an emoji that I don't even want to talk about, right? It's purple. So make them feel special. This is the best time of the year to make that connection. Listen, I'm getting all my cards ready that I'm going to send out for the holiday, whatever holiday you celebrate. Can I have your home address? 123 Main Street, Colorado. Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Now you have that. You're going to input it into command. You're going to go on Facebook and stalk their birthday. You're going to input that into command and write this down. You're going to put them on the birthday smart plan. Because the birthdays, on their birthday alone, they should hear from you 5 times. You're sending an email, you're sending a text, you're calling, command, you're saying happy birthday on social media. And if you're really, really intentional, on the first of the month, you are sorting command and asking command, whose birthday is in the next 30 days? And you are their first call. I know your birthday is not until the 12th, but I wanted to be the first one to congratulate you. Happy birthday. I usually do that on video text form. This is just about being nice to people. People will do business with people that make them feel loved, heard, and special. You're the same way. If Amazon were an evil thing to you, you wouldn't buy Amazon. But Amazon treats us well, doesn't it? Like it's in my door. Come on. And then they send me a picture like, I just dropped your package. Right? And we feel so special. Like, oh my God, thank you. Right? Like now we can even track it. Like I can see the truck going, like going through my gate. Oh my God, they're almost here. Right? So think of yourself as a consumer because your consumer behaves the same way that we do. So we're going to build the database. Then number 2 is we're going to feed it. What type of data do I need about my people? I gave you one already. We need birthdays. What else do we need? Actually, I gave you 2. What else do we need?
To know just like what they're interested in.
We gotta know that. Absolutely. Right? If you are, I don't know, what's your hobby, Heather? Do you have a hobby?
It's not very exciting, but home renovation.
Excellent. Home renovations. I am sure that you have friends that share that interest with you.
They're starting to.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So you can talk to those people around that. So in command, you can tag and say home renovation. Because now next time you want to talk to someone about home renovation and you want to send an email out or a text out or a video out or whatever, it's only to those people that are going to get it. Because if you have someone in your database that doesn't care about home renovations, why would they receive that? Now you're giving them something of value that they consider value. So we got to know our people enough to understand, what do you consider that value is? What's important to you? Because then that's what I'm going to bring you. So we also need their address, their birthday, their emails, their phone numbers. Okay, Alicia, not a problem. Thank you for letting me know. Phone numbers, etc. Now, when we talk about feeding the database, it means daily, like Cody said last week, at least one person. At least one person you need to be adding daily. Ideally, as you are having 10 conversations daily, 10 conversations get put into command. 10 people get put into command. Okay? It is so important that you do that the same day. Because I'm here to tell you, if you wait until Friday to put 50 conversations into command on 50 people with everything that you talked about the whole week, you're not going to remember half of it. So as you are making your calls, my suggestion is to have command up and make the notes of what you guys talked about and next contact. Because you can go through command, right? And say next contact. Now it's Jana. So let me talk to Jana. Hey, Jana, how are you? Last time we spoke, you told me that your kids were graduating. Oh my God, are you excited? Are you not excited? Are you crying? Not crying? What's going on? Right? You can make the relationship better because they don't know that you're looking into your notes. They feel, oh my gosh, you remember. Does that make sense? So when we're feeding our database, we're putting at least one person inside our database daily before we go to bed. And ideally, the 10 conversations, the 10 people that you spoke to, if they are not in your database, you are putting them in your database. Little by little, guys. Okay? Rome was not built in a day. This is a process, not an event. Now, we have built it, we have fed it, and now the third thing that we're going to do with the database is that we're going to communicate with it systematically. How many of you, raise your hands, freak out because I don't want to call the same person every week. How many of you are freaking out about that? Right? Thank you, Jana, for being the courageous one. Well, yeah, it would be a little creepy that you're calling the same people every week. So we can systematize that. And we use a system that's called, I'm going to write it here on the chat. It's called the DTD2. Okay. And that stands for doing the database too. When we are inputting the contacts in our database, we're going to tag them with 2 letters of the alphabet. There's a schedule for that. Go to your leadership and ask for it. And let's say it's A and W week. But that week, you're going to call the people that have a last name of A or W. That way, you are guaranteed that in 13 weeks that we have in a quarter, you go through your whole database, right? Specifically your sphere of influence at this point. These are people like that you know. And you go through all the people that you know once a quarter. They're hearing from you. That means they're going to hear your voice 4 times a year. At that point, are we really bothering people? When you systematize it like that?
No, not at all.
Not at all. They're going to be happy to hear from you, right? Now, who also carries in their shoulders the responsibility of, you know, like I haven't talked to that person in like 3 years.
Yeah.
But they didn't call you either. Why are we suddenly the responsible one to carry the relationship? Now, that call, the first time you call, if you want to rekindle that relationship, it's not going to be about real estate, right? Because we got to be more human more often. Jason says that all the time. More human more often, Liliana. Yes, yes, yes. That first time that you call this person that you haven't spoken to in years, it's not going to be like, oh my God, so I just wanted to let you know that I just joined Keller Williams and I'm a real estate agent because, oh my God, you smell like commission breath. Right? That first conversation is, oh my God, I haven't talked to you in 3 years. I'm so sorry. Life has gotten crazy. How are you? You are reconnecting. How's family? How's work? Guess what happens when you ask this question to someone? What do they naturally do? What do they naturally do when you ask, so how's work going?
They tell you, they talk, they open up, they tell you about life.
And then what?
You get your natural opening. They ask about your life, and then you get to naturally tell them what you've been up to and what you're doing, and it doesn't sound like a creepy car salesman.
There you go. Because they're naturally going to also ask you, so how are you doing? How's work? What are you doing nowadays? Oh my God, I just opened my real estate business, but we can talk about that another time. But tell me more about you. You know, how are the kids? Yada, yada. Can we meet for coffee? Let's reconnect. Right? You can brush past that. You can tell them, but that is not the goal of that conversation. The goal of that conversation is to reconnect and maybe get them to a coffee appointment. Or can we hop on a Zoom for a virtual happy hour? People do that. I mean, I do that with my friends, but I'm old, so we're boring like that. And so communicating with your people in a systematic way is going to ensure that your database will hear from you, your Mets, at least 4 times in the year. Now, communicating systematically with your database can also be a smart plan. If you put your database in a monthly neighborhood smart plan, and this could be everyone, the Mets and the non-Mets, the unmets, right? They're going to hear from you monthly because Command will send that smart plan every 30 days, giving them the value or the approximate value of their home in that area. If you have their specific address, it will be super duper hyper local. If you have the area where they're at, then it will give it the market stats in that area that you clicked and marked when you created the contact. So that's 4 times a year plus the monthly neighborhood, which is 12 times a year. I'm already at 16 touches with 2 things. You see how quickly we can get to 50? Because monthly, they should also be hearing from you with a little video on how the market's doing in 30 seconds or less. In social media, they're hearing from you. I do a blog, and I actually copied that from Jay Papasan. He does it weekly. My life is not that interesting, so I do it quarterly. So they hear from me in the blog 4 times a year. They love the blog because my blog is all about personal stuff. What am I reading? What am I listening to with my podcast? Where am I traveling? What's going on with my family? What's going on with my business? If I'm ahead in goal, if I'm behind in the goals, right? How many families we've helped, blah, blah, blah. But it's mostly just personal stuff. And they love it, especially the books I'm reading. I'm a huge nerd, so I'm reading tons of books all the time. And I've never read The Diary of Anne Frank until last quarter. And I had 5 people tell me, oh my God, can you lend me the book? Yeah, of course I'll lend you the book. Out of the 5 people, 1 gave me a deal. Because through my blog, they were reminded that, oh yeah, you're real estate, right? Because it is our job to remind them that we are in real estate. Because when we see that they post on social media that they just bought a house or sold a house and we were not involved, and we got a little mad, we're like, come on, man, like, dude, you didn't call me. And then we put it all on them. That was our fault. That's our fault. Remember, and I'm going to give you a scary statistic. I'm going to give you a very scary statistic. 80% of you won't make it. And the consumer knows that. The consumer feels that people come and go into real estate like it's like nothing. So it is your job to show them, I am going to make it because you're here. So obviously you're the committed, right? So they got to know that you are still in the industry, because they know that people come into the industry and get out of the industry. So it's on you to let them know, I'm still here. Did you guys hear my alarm go off? Yeah? Yeah. Do you know why I have an alarm go off? Because we're going to go have a competition. I love competitions. Who wants to play? Who wants to play my game? All right. So since most of you I cannot see because, you know, I don't have cameras on, which, oh my God, this is hard, guys. It's hard. Turn your cameras on if you can. We are going to take 10 minutes. And I want you guys to text people. I don't care what you text. I don't care what the script is. If you want to let them know that you're in real estate, let them know that you're in real estate. If you want to ask for a referral, ask for the referral. If you just want to say, how are you? Then just say, how are you? But I want to see who is the person that's going to be able to text the most amount of people in 10 minutes. Because let me tell you something, 92% of texts are read. When we say call, we don't mean like literally like that. We mean this. So I want you guys to, I'm going to put the timer again for 10 minutes. So give me 1 second. So I can say, ready, set, go. And let's see who can get the most amount of people, the most amount of text out in 10 minutes. And then we're going to measure at the end of Ignite how many people got responses, who got the most responses. Are we ready? Set? Let's go. Let's go text. All right, time is up. Time is up. Write your numbers in the chat. How many people did you reach out to? I love it that I can still see someone. All right, tell me how many people. Write your numbers in the chat. Write your numbers in the chat. Ten exactly. Holy crap. That was like 1 per minute. Good job. Good job. 9, 9, 8. That's awesome, guys. That is great. Great job. Great job. Did anyone get any responses at all? 5, but 1 call that I have a lead. Look at that. It works when you work it. It's like a miracle. 1 response. Good job. 3, 12. Wow. 5. Good job, guys. That's amazing work. Oh my God, that's amazing work for 7 o'clock on a Tuesday. Good job. 5. Excellent. Now I want to ask a question. I know it's going to sound like a silly question, but it has a point. Is everyone still alive? Was anyone in danger at any point sending these texts? No? Who, raise your virtual hand, just texted the most people ever since you've been in real estate? Is this your biggest number of contacts since you've started real estate? Yeah? Carmen, that's amazing. Congratulations. What was your number, Carmen? 10 exactly.
I was 10. Yeah.
Now, how easy was that?
It wasn't as easy because the first night we had to do this. And I
Uh-huh.
guess I could have texted the same people, but I wanted to find different people. So half the time I was going, okay, who's going to know me if I text them? So
You were doing like Liliana when Liliana was in Ignite. I'm just going to pretend that I am texting people or calling people.
I did, I promise.
Awesome. Very cool. So tell me your feelings around that, guys. Please get off mute or raise your virtual hand if more than one of you want to speak, so that we can have a conversation around how did we just feel? It's important that we address this.
It was good. Everybody that I texted responded though. And then, so then I got distracted from texting other people. And then I got a call and it was a lead, but I mean, he's a talker. So it was definitely a whole conversation. Wasn't
Very
expecting.
cool. Now, what was your script? What did you text that someone just became a lead?
Well, I knew that he was thinking about looking at an investment property for him to rent out. And I would just asked him, and I knew that he was saying it was going to be a while, like it's going to be a long time until I'm ready. So I just asked him if he was, how that was going and where he was in that process. So he said, can you talk? So then he just called me and
Nice.
then told me everything. So
Nice. Very cool. Who else? Who else had some feelings around it? Whether good or bad? This is a no judgment zone, guys. You're in a safe space. Sam, were you texting people? That's one of mine. Sam. I feel like I can call on him. Sam, are you there? Are you there? Not there? They're not there. Okay. The point of this, guys, is so that you get into this habit. Sometimes we don't want to make the conversations because I don't have time. But you just had 10 minutes and all of you could send more than 5 texts out in 10 minutes. So I don't want you to put a story in your head that's incorrect about I just don't have time to do real estate as a dual career agent, because you just proved to yourselves that you could. And I always want you guys to question the stories that your head is telling you, because they're all wrong. The only story in your head that's the correct one is the one telling you that you're awesome. Because you are. That's the truth. You are awesome. All right. So now that we just did that, did you kind of like having the music in the background? Did it give you some energy? Could you hear it? Could you not hear it? Did it work? Yeah, no, maybe. All right. We have built the database. We have fed the database. We've communicated with it systematically, which you just communicated with your database. So good job. And the fourth law of the database is to service it. We gotta service our database. We gotta give them the most amazing customer experience that they're ever going to have in real estate. Because I'm here to tell you, when you start working with people and you start closing deals and you have an amazing experience created for them, at the end of the transaction, or even sometimes in the middle of it, you will hear the following words. Oh my God, no real estate agent has ever done this for me. No one has ever talked to me that way. No one has ever explained this to me this way. No one has ever communicated with me the way that you're communicating with me. Thank you for keeping me in the loop. And that's when you know that you're doing amazing at your customer experience. So you got to service your database. We always have to come from contribution. How many times have you heard that already in KW? And what we mean by that is not things that we feel are important, it's things that we know are important to them. Okay? So now that you have the 4 laws of the database clear, now you can start doing what we call smart database. And now that smart database is going to become your data bank. Because the more people you have in your database, the more chances that people are going to transact with you. And you have this in your book, but I want to share the screen so that you can take a picture of it. You're building it, you're feeding it daily, you're communicating with it systematically, and you're servicing all of your leads. Like, you got to be obsessed with the loss of the database. Okay? Because this is literally your job description. You got to build it, meaning I cannot build it if I don't have no business, right? I'm going to feed it and I'm going to communicate, which is follow up, and I'm going to service it. And when I'm servicing my database, I'm going on appointments and I am negotiating contracts. And I cannot do any of that if I don't practice my conversations, which is your 5th big rock. Those are your 5 big rocks in real estate. The 20%, you're going to look for business. You're going to follow up on the business. You're going to go on appointments, negotiate contracts, and practice your conversations. And a lot of that is done through the loss of the database. Any insights, ahas that you want to share with the group? What are you hearing today that you're like, oh my God, I can implement that? Nothing?
I think it's the fact that we took 10 minutes and text so many people. Like, we did do it the first night, like Carmen said, and like reached out to people, but I was really just, just texting, like to see if people would respond, not actually anticipating anything to come of it. I mean, people are texting me now that I'm on the phone, but I'm like, okay, well, that only took 10 minutes. So maybe I need to make sure I have more 10 minutes, spots for 10 minutes in the day, just to contact those people.
Start small, guys. Start small. Our brain is not meant to process big things. Our brains are meant to process when we chunk it down, all the way down to the one thing. So if you start with 10 minutes, start with 10 minutes. If you start with one text or one call, then it's one text or one call. You have to do something. It's better than do something than a whole lot of nothing. Okay? And the truth of the matter is that once you start having conversations with people and you start seeing that people are saying to you things like, oh my God, thank you so much for reaching out. I was so happy to hear from you. The stories that you're telling in your head now are going to disappear because now you feel like, I don't want to come out salesy. I don't want to sound like a real estate agent. Like, right? Is that the thing? Because we're fearful around that. That's natural. But just chunk it down to 10 minutes and time block the 10 minutes. Remember this exercise. Remember how you felt. Between all of you that reported numbers on the chat, you almost got to 70 contacts in 10 minutes together as a team. Isn't that amazing? 70 contacts as a team. That's huge, guys. And we have one lead that we know of. One lead that we know of. Remember that the whole point of real estate is to be engaged in the right activity. And this is going to bring me to this one thing that you've seen before with your daily success system, right? It's 10 conversations daily, 10 contacts added into your command because we're building and feeding the database, right? You're going to send 10 handwritten notes. Everyone that you spoke to should be receiving a handwritten note from you. Maybe then you can insert your business card in that handwritten note. Subtle, right? It's not like punching them in the face. I'm a real estate agent. Hey, thank you so much for taking my call the other day. I was super happy to hear from you. Here's my business card. If you know of anyone that wants to transact in buy, sell, or invest in real estate, let me know. The conversation of the moment is around how much equity homeowners have in their homes. Gary told us at MegaCount that 70% of the United States population has over 50% of equity in their homes. People are sitting in a lot of money. And you need to be the one planting seeds because they don't necessarily need to sell. They can pull some of that equity to buy an investment home and start building their legacies and their long-term wealth. All right. Then in here you have the 10-5-1 social media engagement. Did you guys do the social media already? The social media class? It is super important that you continue to do the social media because people are in social media. This is a great way to earn trust. And people do business with people that what? That they trust. And that make them feel excited. Okay, exactly, Kim. With people that they trust. And social media has become this wonderful gift for entrepreneurs to build trust very quickly. Now, the quicker way to build trust in social is videos. So I would challenge you to, if you're in the Tickety Talk, to do the Tickety Talk thing, or Instagram or Facebook or whichever social media outlet. Every outlet is going to be a little bit different on how the algorithm is looking at the content. So just make sure that whatever outlet you pick, you know how to feed the algorithm. And I'm going to actually put, I'm going to share here the handle of this. She's a social media guru. Her name is Chelsea Peets. Go follow her. Go follow her. She'll give you all kinds of tips for free. She is amazing. She has built a massive empire just coaching agents and entrepreneurs in general around social media. All right, guys. I wanna share this quote with you, and I want you to please tell me, because I'm tired of talking all by myself. What do you hear? What do you get from this quote? I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in relationship with me. What does that sound like? What does that sound like?
It sounds like to me that it's you're providing somebody with something of some type of value, not necessarily monetary, but some sort of value that can help grow that conversation or extend it.
Correct. Absolutely. It's an affirmation, right? I am going to give you value. And thank you so much, Carlin. I am going to give you value because when you believe it, they're going to feel that. It's when we don't believe it that they're iffy about it. Because they're going to respond to your energy. They're going to match your energy. Do you believe that I know my stuff in real estate? Probably, right? And you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to hear what she has to say to some extent. So is your consumer. Your consumer is doing the same thing. The same thing. They're going to believe that you know what you're saying, and they're going to give you the business. So you have to believe that they are happy to hear from you and that you have value to contribute. And if you don't understand what value is, I want you to have a little time of self-reflection. And I want you to really journal around or think through, why are you in this earth? Because I'm here to tell you, you're not here to sell houses. Houses is just the avenue to get the money to do the thing that you really, really want to do. One of our agents in Miami, in the Miami office, used real estate to raise all this capital. And then she went and built a restaurant. There's an agent in New Orleans. This woman is like epic. She works 6 months of the year in real estate. She did that for like 7 years, made millions of dollars. And last year she opened a boutique because that's where her passion is. It's in fashion. So people use real estate to make money to actually fund their mission in life, whatever it is that they want to do. I use real estate so that I have the money to go do the coaching, because there's money in coaching, not as much money as in selling real estate. But that's where my passion lies, right? So real estate allows me to do this. So don't feel like your mission in life is all about selling houses, because it's not. There's something else. And I would advise for all of you to have that bigger conversation with yourselves, because when you have clarity on why you're doing this, that's going to pull you out of bed. If it is not pulling you out of bed in the morning on the days that you really don't want to, you got to rethink your why, because it needs to be strong enough to kick you out of bed and do the thing even when we don't want to do the thing. Does that make sense? Any final thoughts? Because I am done with the material. I can open this to Q&A, and if you want to ask me any questions, we could do that. I'm going to stop the recording